So I hope you are enjoying the course thus far. And if I were you in your shoes, I'd imagine that you want to move on and do more programming. But before we can do that, let's talk a little bit more about variables because there are some rules as JavaScript developers and programmers we must follow. For instance, you can't go around naming your variables whatever you like. There are some keywords that we cannot use. For example, var is one of those keywords. We can't name a variable var. This is one example, however, there are many more we can't use. You should check out the external links in this lecture as I've included a reference to a list of all the different keywords that would give you a syntax error if you try to use them as a variable name. If you ever get a syntax error when you are creating a variable and can't figure out what is the problem, then this might be a likely cause. The next thing worth mentioning is that a variable is not allowed to start with a number, but they can end with a number. All variables must start with a letter. Here is an example of what I mean. One time is an example of a wrong variable, while time1 is a correct name for a variable. Variables can also only contain the following characters: letters, numbers, the $ value, and underscores. Here are some more examples of correct variables and incorrect variables. Take a second to study the sheet and try to find out the reason why each one is correct and why the incorrect variables are wrong. To sum this lesson up, I want to mention that it is important that you make your variable names clear, informative, and easy to understand. For example, player1 is a better choice for a variable instead of p1. Player1 clearly tells us what our variable is about. P1 kind of could lead to confusing if somebody else was to use your code, or if it's been a long time since you've used this piece of code and you just forgot what P1 was referencing to. Well, that's it for naming variables. Let's take a quick quiz and move on with the course.